Member from Saskatoon-Nutana.
Madam Deputy Speaker, as we assemble here today on Treaty 4 territory in the homeland of the Métis, I begin my remarks by offering words of honour and respect. Respect for those who have come here before me, respect for those who have elected me as their representative, and respect for the land upon which we gather. I would be remiss if I did not also take this opportunity to show my respect for all the healthcare and frontline workers who are working desperately hard right now to keep us all safe and secure through the troubling and recent escalation of the COVID pandemic. Saskatchewan is a democracy, a place where many of us enjoy almost unparalleled freedom and security. We are fortunate to live in such a democracy as Canada. We often take it for granted, and we shouldn't. The events unfolding both here and at home, elsewhere globally, remind us that it is so. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank the people of Saskatoon-Nutana, situated in Treaty 6, for electing me as their representative. As has been pointed out before in this assembly by my predecessors, namely Pat Atkinson and Kathy Sproul, my constituents are a highly engaged and politically astute citizenry. They have bestowed upon me a sacred trust, one which I hold very dearly and which I am honored to bear. I will do my best to never let them down. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my campaign team, including the many donors, workers, and everyone who lent a hand during the campaign. In particular, my thanks to my campaign manager, Cheryl Lodeman, and the rest of the campaign staff, Carrie, Heather, Nick, and Diane. My constituency executive, I also want to thank, in particular, Erika, Robert, Judy, Graham, Eric, and so many others, too numerous to mention. They gave of their time and energies in pursuit of good government and effective representation. Without their dedication and hard work, I would not be standing here today. To all of you, I say thank you most humbly. And like all of you, I have a supportive group of friends and family around me to thank as well. I want to pay tribute to my parents, Albert and Eleanor Ritchie, for instilling in me the values of compassion, honesty, and service. I want to thank my spouse, Eric, and our children, Katrin, Monica, Robin, and Natalia, for being part of this journey with me. Our families may grow up, branch out, and take new forms, but no matter what, our families are what support us through life's ups and downs, and with whom we celebrate these important milestones. And while this year has been markedly different because of COVID, this experience has been no exception. My next words are words of congratulations. It is a high honor to be selected by your peers as someone of integrity, seen to be guided by fairness and worthy of trust. I want to congratulate you, Madam Deputy Speaker, on being a person who has been judged by your peers to possess those qualities, and wish you and your counterpart well in your important roles. I want to congratulate each and every member who has been elected or re-elected to this Assembly. Regardless of our political affiliation, we all represent the people of Saskatchewan, and I look forward to getting to know and working with members from both sides of the House. My next words are words of reflection. It might seem odd to spend a few minutes asking and answering the question of what we are here for and why. I realize we all know we are here to serve as MLAs. But is there a perspective or an attitude that we should try to think about that would help in the process? I think there may be, Madam Deputy Speaker. I am here to represent all of the people of Saskatoon-Nutana, whether they voted for me or not, and also to seek to represent all the people of the province. We are all here to represent the public and the public interest. In doing that, I do not consider the men and women on the opposite side of the House to be my adversaries. All of us are here to seek the public interest and to do good for our province according to the beliefs that each of us has. I am going to try, Madam Deputy Speaker, to always remember who I am here for, and that is the public, and what I am here to pursue, and that is the public interest. None of us should ever lose sight of that to the point where we only listen to the group that we are a part of, and our role is larger than that. Another important part of my job here, and the job of all of us, Madam Deputy Speaker, is to listen. I hope that I will always listen carefully to my constituents and others in the province. I would like to be an active listener. It will still be my responsibility, alongside other people here, to arrive at decisions which are in the public interest from our point of view, taking the best information we possess into account. In that role, spending a lot of time listening would help us bring about the best results. Of course, there will be many occasions, I'm sure, when we will be engaged in vigorous debate, and we may even be a little bit more partisan than perhaps we should. I may be guilty of that myself on occasion, but if I am, I hope that someone listening to this speech will remind me of my words today, and that I try to keep a balanced and healthy perspective on things. Madam Deputy Speaker, the government has received a strong mandate from the people of Saskatchewan to continue governing the province for the next 4 years. And in a democracy, the people are never wrong, and we respect the result of the election. As the opposition, we too have a critical role to play in the governance of this province, and to represent those who do not feel that they have been heard by the government. Our role is not to obstruct the elected government, but try to constructively oppose things that we do not believe are the best measures or being done in the best way, and to suggest alternatives. Someone once said to get good government, you need a strong opposition, and I think that is true, Madam Deputy Speaker. Governments are more accountable and do a better job when there is someone there to hold them to account. Our system of government, the parliamentary system, depends upon a healthy dialogue between government and opposition, and the public is better served when they have alternative choices available in the event they feel there is a need for change. In providing good government, we need to pursue policies which overall promote social and economic well-being, while at the same time protecting the environment, respecting our treaty rights and responsibilities, remembering the most vulnerable people in society and the need for equality of opportunity, while ensuring a robust public sector and set of programs which serve the common good for current and future generations. In assessing government policy, I will have all of these goals in mind. Now, as we engage in this healthy dialogue, holding the government to account and promoting the common good, I want to spend some time considering the current context in which we find ourselves. Madam Deputy Speaker, during the past few decades, we have observed the pace of societal, environmental, and technological change accelerate to speeds never previously witnessed. As the past few weeks have shown, governing in these modern times has become more complex and uncertain. In such times, governments are expected to show leadership by acting with courage, empathy, and humility while remaining flexible and transparent to the needs of their constituents. We as legislators would all do well to acknowledge the continuing and rapid changes occurring around us. To ignore that reality is to fail at leading our province successfully and confidently into an uncertain future, one where a worldwide pandemic has caused a global public health emergency. And as a global community, we have almost run out the clock on averting climate catastrophe. But regrettably, while these world-altering events have been unfolding, Madam Deputy Speaker, many of us have lost sight of our common humanity and interdependence, which necessarily means we've forgotten that we share a common purpose underpinned by a social contract to which we all belong. In these perilous times, it has become more important than ever to remember that our happiness and quality of life is best assured when we live in communities that are mutually supportive instead of pitting one segment of society against another. Now, during these past several months, COVID has brought into clearer focus the vulnerabilities of those in our society who experience social inequality. And the weakness in our social fabric have become only more pronounced, creating greater urgency in addressing issues related to basic human dignity, such as alleviating poverty and homelessness, knowing that in doing so, problems like a higher crime rate, a high incarceration rate, addictions, family breakdown, and health issues are reduced by the same measure. These are problems which don't just impact those experiencing them firsthand. They impact loved ones, extended families, friends, and neighbors. They impact all of us. They diminish the quality of life of society as a whole. They challenge us to be courageous and long-term in our thinking and to believe that we can build a better society. We need to think long-term and remember that it is wiser to spend $100 today on education or recreation for a vulnerable young person than to spend $100,000 in 20 years from now to put them in jail. While I believe, Madam Deputy Speaker, that government should play a role in ensuring everyone benefits from the wealth of society, I also know instinctively and from my professional life that you cannot share the wealth until you produce the wealth. Economic progress without social progress is not how you create a good society. Social progress without economic progress is not possible. So we need both to survive and to recover from this pandemic. But let us also not forget that a healthy planet is essential to a healthy society. My constituents have elected me to be their voice in the Assembly to seek climate and intergenerational justice. They have elected me to relentlessly pursue that objective in a manner that is both proportionate to the magnitude of the climate crisis which we face and the moral obligations under which it places the good people of Saskatchewan. I look forward to the debate on climate ambition and the urgency upon which we must now act to protect the planet from dangerous climate catastrophe. Now is not the time for the new climate denialism that uses false equivalencies, duplicity, and obfuscations to ignore the climate emergency and avoid protecting current and future generations. Let me assure you, Madam Deputy Speaker, that I am a practical person. I am an environmental engineer by education and vocational experience. My professional life in both the public and the private sectors has taught me that economic development and protecting the environment are not antithetical. Responsible industry leaders know that to avoid future liabilities and costs, it is best to take care of the environment from the outset, and I consider that objective to be a very important part of my job as well. But regrettably, this government has missed countless opportunities to support our energy sector and energy workers to more meaningfully and ambitiously transition to a clean energy future. Opportunities such as supporting homeowners and businesses to retrofit their homes and places of work to become more energy efficient, while creating good-paying jobs in the clean energy economy. That is what the world needs from the government and people of Saskatchewan. Instead, they cancelled the net metering program and pick fights with other levels of government as a form of distraction from their own poor record and failure to plan. The lack of ambition on the part of this government to decarbonize disadvantages us economically, leaving us behind as the rest of the world retools their energy system and economy for 21st century realities. You can count on your official opposition, Madam Deputy Speaker, to challenge this government to show greater leadership in these areas and present practical alternatives to the grandiose and unrealistic ideas being put forward by this government. So in conclusion, I'd like to say, we live in a good society when we do the work to keep it so. We can do better. We have the resources. All we need is the political will. Madam Deputy Speaker, I am humbled and honored to be here today. I hope to work positively and constructively. I want to always remember that there is only one reason to enter politics, and that is public service. If I remember that, then I feel at the end of the day, I will not have let my constituents down, and just as importantly, I will not have left myself, my family, and my supporters down. Madam Deputy Speaker, I have tried to remain positive, but since this is the debate on the speech from the throne, I must tell you, this is one of those occasions when I find myself unable to agree with the overall direction indicated by the government. As has already been pointed out by the Leader of the Opposition, at a time when people are struggling We should be planning to invest to get through this together, not making life harder for families. We need clear, consistent messaging and a real plan that helps people instead of mixed messages and half measures that won't get the job done. I will be voting against the government's motion in support of the speech from the throne and will be supporting the amendment instead. Still, I look forward to the work that we will generally pursue here to make our province and society an even better place than it already is for us and those who will follow us. Thank you.